You are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was up again today, Thursday, June 13th. Another good day on the index as it closed at another record high of 17,668. We'll round up to 8, but it's up 59 points or 0.34% today. That's tacking on to yesterday's strong gains, which is essentially like another follow-through day on Wednesday, where it's up 1.53%. So on the week now, going into Friday, we're up 3%, 3.12% on the week. So a very strong week, and June has just been a monster here, up 5.5% already this month. There's no need to fight the trend or fight the tape. The trend is your friend, and it's trading a little higher. I just want to caution a little bit, going into tomorrow, which is a Friday, and, likely to be some profit taking. But the Nasdaq now is 2.4% above its 10 EMA, 4% above its 21, and 7.6% above its 50. And I'm telling you, these are going up rapidly, the green and the magenta. In fact, today it was, I think the lost ground on the 10. Yesterday was 2.6% above the 10, and today it's 2.4, even with a 59-point gain. So these moving averages are moving up rapidly. The 50 is a little bit of a longer term, and like I said, it's 7.6. So it could go up to 8 or 9 or even 10% above it. So don't I don't know, be too cautious here. You want to step on the gas, you want to be aggressive. We've had a strong week. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to get back my gains, and I get that. Because if the index pulls back into the, the 21 or whatever, that's going to be a little bit of a pullback and you're going to lose some of your gains. So I get that. So what I do is I just trim some on the way. But, there's a 16% move here from 15,222 to today's close at 17,667. So this is from April 19th to June 13th, we've had a 16% move in the index. That is a strong move. We're in a power trend. This is a special time, definitely a time to make money and step on the gas. And a lot of your stocks are working. And if you're like me, and every now and then you turn on the financial news network, it's just really negative, and I just cannot take it. I just can't take it because there's, they talk about this narrow, there's only a few stocks moving. I show stocks every day on my review with making new highs. There's so many stocks that are doing well. I mean, you still have to be selective. You still have to pick the right stocks, but there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I just wanted to show you the week here. This is the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. These are the 4 days this week, and you can see the closing. I just wanted to point out, the closes they're strong. Yeah, they rally in the morning, but this finish here is nice. A little pullback here on Tuesday, but the finish is real strong into the close. Yesterday gapped higher, sold off a little bit, after Jerome Powell spoke, but still closed strong. Today gapped higher, then came down, just filled the gap here nicely, and just had buyers all the way into the close. So the closing is more important than the open to me, and we're seeing institutions buying tech stocks, but they're also buying insurance stocks. They're just buying a whole, drug stocks. There's a lot of stocks working, and there's stocks that are not working. Your financials are having trouble, your oil and gas, and there's just, it's a mixed bag, but it's just part of the rotation. Anyway, the Nasdaq looks fantastic. It is definitely the leading index here. The S&P, it was also up, 12 points today, or 0.23%, not quite as much as the Nasdaq, and it's trading above all of its moving averages as well, and a nice power trend here, 1.3% above the 10 and 4.4% above the 50. So yeah, it was 5 back there in the rally of this power trend that we had earlier in the year. Had the pullback into April, and now summer. Seasonally, June and July are pretty good months. So we're looking good here, folks. But anyway, I don't trade indexes. Let's take a look at the Russell while I'm at it. I just can't stand the negativity. Russell was down today. Oh, well, yeah, I don't like the negativity, so I have to turn them off. It's really silly. All you have to do is look at your stocks, look at your portfolio, and if the stocks are performing well, you keep them or add to them. And if they're not, you get rid of them and you find something that's doing a little better. With the index at new highs, your stock should be, they don't have to be at new highs. If they're, forming a base or something, that's fine too. But like Apple just broke out of the base. This thing's trading near a new high. It was up, oh, it was down today. No, this is wrong. Something's wrong with market search. I thought it was up. Anyway, up after hours. I'm pretty sure it was up today. Anyway, had a nice week. It's 2.7% off the high. And yeah, your stock should be kind of close to their highs, with the index near the highs. Yeah, it was up $1.17 or 0.5%. So Apple looks fantastic. A breakout. I expect it to trade higher. Not every day. It's got to allow these moving averages to catch up. It's almost 10% above its 21. So Apple, if it goes sideways for a couple of days, that's fine. I think it's going higher. That's just my personal opinion based on years of experience. Anyway, Meta Platforms, I really like the way this one's setting up. I know it wasn't up today, big deal. This one's forming a base, right? And the longer trade sideways, the more I like it. Right around that 500 level, it's allowing these moving averages to catch up here. I want to buy it tight to that 10 or 21. It's 3.6% above the 21. So that is setting up nicely as well. Meta Platforms, NVIDIA. This is my largest holding. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was golfing today. I wasn't really paying attention to the markets too much. I did listen to a little bit of Financial News Network as much as I could stand, and then I had to turn it off because there's just blithering idiots on there. This is NVIDIA. Sorry, I shouldn't insult people. They're just not my style, that's all. Made a high of 129.80. Okay, if your stock's making a new high while the index is making a new high, it's probably a leader in its group. And I would say that NVIDIA is the one semiconductor fabless stock that is a must own. You can see the earnings line heading due north, and God, just consolidation breakout. Man, this is just a phenomenal move. Really, after the stock split on Monday, I thought it was going to go sideways. This is really, showing incredible strength. NVIDIA looking fantastic. But what moved the semiconductors and the hardware stocks today was a stellar report from Broadcom. Yeah, they did the 10-for-1 stock split, which is fine. But man, look at this gap higher, 12% with that volume. That is a move not to be ignored. It's going to split in July. God, I forget the date. It's not that important. Sometime in July, probably be, 170, 180 bucks. Heck of a move there with volume though for Broadcom, and it earned that move with delivering earnings and sales growth and raising forward guidance. They raised from 50 billion to 51 billion. It doesn't sound like much, like 2%, but it beats expectations, right? So there's expectations that must be met, and if you beat them, you get rewarded. And Broadcom was rewarded today. So this thing looks really strong. Expected growth here coming in real strong, double-digit growth for Broadcom. That is what's going to move the stock. Qualcomm, we had this one on our ready list a while back, and it just keeps grinding higher. Had this double bottom base, broke out on this day, 10% move with volume. That is on my power earnings gap list. And now what's it doing? Well, it's finding support at its moving average. Every time it pulls back there, it finds support and pops higher. So why would you buy it when it breaks higher instead of when it comes into a moving average? It's bouncing off the 10, so wait till it comes back to the 10. I would not chase it up there. And just a bunch of these hardware names did well based on Broadcom's earnings report. Broadcom did say, they said they're not going to challenge NVIDIA. They don't want to go into their sandbox. So they're keeping in their own lane there. And they were, the CEO was very complimentary of Jensen and NVIDIA. Just they dominate. So they're not going to, why challenge the Jolly Green Giant, right? It seems like smart management to me. This is Super Micro, pull back, I keep coming back to this one and saying that, yeah, it topped, but right now it's just forming a base. That's all it's doing. It rallied back through its 50 today. with, you know, massive volume. I don't even know if there was news on this. I'm just looking at the chart here. But I expect this thing to base. And if the AI revolution is going to play out as I suspect, this thing's going to form a base and trade higher and take out that old 1229 at some point. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, nice day for SMCI. I believe it was just based on the Broadcom report, which, you know, powered a lot of the hardware names higher. These are the data storage names, and you know, we've had these on the ready list. I think I had Micron on for 2 or 3 weeks here as it just formed this base and then had this shakeout. Now is really moving nicely. It's extended. A lot of the stocks on my ready list are extended, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make up stuff to add, and I'm not going to put stocks that have failed on there. So probably a short list for tomorrow. But anyway, you know, a nice, you know, 9.3% move this week, which we'll take every week, right? And Western Digital, not too far behind it, up 6% this week. Once again, this is getting extended out of its base here. The hardware names look good. Probably, you know, they probably should see some profit taking at some point. Pure Storage, another one of these hardware names, up 2% following that Broadcom earnings. It did not take out the old high, did it? Of 68.75, very close. Pure Storage just fantastic stock. It just pulled back here on earnings that one day and just continues to grind higher. It's kind of a slow trader and just kind of a slow mover, just kind of grinds in the right direction, though. We like our stocks going due north. This is NetApp, another you know, fantastic, you know, day, up 1.25%. You look at the weekly gains on these things, yeah, 5%, you know, it's 0.5% off of its high. So these stocks are near their highs. They're showing leadership as the indexes, you know, making highs. Seagate as well, just looks like an inside day today, which is nice. You're up nearly 2%, and it's just an inside day. That looks fantastic. Just a little bit extended from a buy area, though. So those ones are just starting to push away from their bases and probably have, you know, more upside on those data storage names. All right, some of the other ones that I had on my ready list that popped a little bit was Arista Networks. You know, these are the AI plays. You know, this is computer networking, and you can see this cup with handle. And this is straight up from the bottom. So, like I said, these things take a little more time. You need to shake out, you know, all these people taking profits. That's a heck of a move. 240 to 329, right? $90 move on a $240 stock. You can do the math, but that's a nice shake out there to the 50. And then it pops. It pops this week. It's had a heck of a week. So I'm gonna have to take this one off my ready list as well. Yeah, it's up nearly 12% this week. Man, we just had a ton of winning stocks here. And like I say, this is at a new high. It made a new high today as the index makes a new high. And if your stock isn't making a new high or performing well, I mean, it doesn't have to be near new highs. It just, you know, if it's setting up in a base like ELF or something, that's still a strong stock. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But your stock should be setting up in a base or, you know, make near new highs. And if it's lagging, like we know this one is lagging Celsius. I had this one on the ready list like 2 weeks ago. This one is just dive bombing. So, you know, that is not the type of leadership that we're looking for. Wow, look at that on the weekly below the 200. Anyway, I digress. I'm still doing these hardware names that I do like. VRT is one that, you know, pulled back to the 50, undercut. I took it off our leading stock list, even though it's one of the monster stocks of the last year. What has it gone up? 325%. Yeah, what have you done for me lately? It probably just needs to base a little bit, but it's back above its 50 and looking fine. And I think these stocks got a boost from Broadcom, no doubt. This is Dell, sold off following its earnings, just came down to the 50. Now it's kind of squatting there. It needs to power through the 10 and the 21 here. Those have curled down, and Dell needs to get off the stick and start getting back above that, you know, 150 area. All right, enough of these. Well, I got one more. CAMT, this is one of my faves. Just grinding higher, just a breakout from a base. We had this, you know, 1 week. It was on, it moved higher, breakout on this day here, and it's just adios muchachos. This thing's gone. Yeah, 9% move on May 9th. So it's been a month of just straight up pulled back to the 21 one time. and now it's just grinding higher, and it's 11.4% above the 21 now. So you got to wait for that one to come back to you. You can't chase it. I can't. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes people just like a stock. Hey, it's going up, I'm going to buy it. So, they hold on or add more during a pullback, and that's fine too. Okay, I got to get to the software names. Software is just kill. Software is so hard right now. This is Spotify, goes up, goes down, but it's still consolidating when they're in a base. Pull back to its 50 today, really doing nothing wrong. It's just in a base. That's it. Made that 313, then pulled back to the 50, went up to 319, then pulled back to the 50, then ran up to about 330 something, 331, now pulled back to the 50. So it's just consolidating in this kind of base action. I don't know if you're trading, you buy the lows, sell the spikes, right? Buy the low, sell the spike, something like that. In the just consolidating in a base. That's what stocks do. It is going higher though. You see the higher lows. If I you can see the consolidation pattern here, but if I just go back to the daily, you can see that it's making these higher lows along the way. And made another one today. So actually that looks pretty good to me, but software is just too darn hard. CrowdStrike, this is one that we were fortunate to get way back, just above 300 something, and then just ramped after earnings. Yeah, and I trimmed some actually of CrowdStrike. It just gone up too much, from what, 280 to 380, I mean, in a very short period of time. So there's going to be some profit takers there, and you just have to decide if you want to sit through that profit taking process. It'll probably be only a few days. It's got that standard buy point there right here of a 358.84. Pull back today, just an inside day. That actually looks really good. CrowdStrike, but man, when they move that fast, they become big parts of your portfolio, like NVIDIA and ELF and CrowdStrike and Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. They start getting big on you. So you just got to trim. That's what I do anyway. Oracle was the reason for the software group to rally earlier in the week, as it spiked 13%, made another high today, then pulled back slightly. I mean, it was down 1/3%, but Oracle definitely one of the stronger, well, because it has the AI component, right? And then VERX is a computer software financial stock, financial software. This had a double bottom base, and it just, shake out here to 31, then moved higher, then another shake out to the 21, and now moving higher. It's 5.8% above its 21. So, I can't buy it there. It's extended, but let it come closer to a moving average if you're interested in that one. It looks pretty good as well. All right, I got to go to the retail names. Retail's my faves, and for giving me a hard time about bros today. They're not going to make new highs every day, okay? All this thing did, they had a secondary offering, okay? So it's had a little bit of weakness around the secondary. It made a new high of 40.75 yesterday. Today pulled back to its 10 EMA. That's all it did. It bounced slightly, 0.5%. But that's all it did. It pulled back to its 10, closed near its 8. I expect it to bounce here, but if it comes back to the 21, it'll be near the old buy point, no harm done there if it does that. Personally, I think it's going to bounce off the 10, but we'll have to wait and see. And if it does come back down to the 21, I'll put it back on our ready list as, the second mouse gets the cheese. If you didn't get the first breakout, we're going to get the second one at 36.17. ELF, I mentioned ELF earlier. I really like the way this thing's setting up in a base. I do think it's going to have trouble at 200. I don't know for how long. People keep asking me like, yeah, should I buy here? Should I buy here? Yeah, you should. If you don't own it, you probably should. If you missed out on our earlier buy point this week, I think I had it at 177 or 178, but this has made a big move this week. And then now it's near a standard buy point. So I had it at an early entry buy point. Yeah, it's up 13% this week. I mean, I don't know how much more you can expect on a Friday from ELF, but I expect it to, sideways action here around that 202.58 cup with handle buy point. And I got to go back to the weekly because it does show this is a nice 14-week consolidation. So what is that? That's more than 3 months of consolidating in a base. And you can see the 32% depth in the base. Stage 2, this looks fantastic to me. And, I trimmed some, but, probably gonna have to buy it back at a higher price. As you can see, it just had an inside day today. Made that high of 202.47 yesterday, and the high today was 202.29. This looks fantastic. Broke above the downtrend line earlier when we broke out of from an earnings report. The Ulta Beauty debacle, which Alpha has no part of, and I really like this stock, as you could probably tell. Chipotle Mexican Grill, they got their stock split approved. Had a nice day today, up 3%. Just another one of these retail restaurant names, like Bros that are it's trending in the right direction for the younger generation, I believe, likes Chipotle. And us older folks too. All right, another one of these retail names, SE. This is a Singapore-based company. It's retail. They've got a couple different revenue streams, but anyway, just made a new high. I kind of like it above 74.33 here. If you just go straight across, it's not much of a base. What is that? I want to say it looks like about 4 weeks of a base there from the 74.33 on May 17th. So about a month. Tomorrow's what, the 14th? Yeah, about a month, 4 weeks of a base. And in this market, down to the 21, that looks to me like a valid base, to me anyway. Yeah, doesn't show up on pattern rec because not enough time, but SE looks good to me. Made a new high today. We like new highs. Signet, they reported earnings. Woo-oo. I guess nobody's getting married anymore. 15% move to the downside. If you hold that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That really hurts, 15%. And if it's got any size in your portfolio at all, that's going to hurt. But all it did was pull back to the 200, and something tells me probably be support there. We'll see. Give it a couple of days. You can see the base on base pattern. Finally, it gave way here. Big red numbers down there for SIG, which I don't like. All right, Tommy Bahama, which, I gotta admit, I buy some Tommy Bahama. This is Oxford Industry. And, they reported earnings, and I guess this is one of those ones where it had been down, so long, the low expectations that it went up with, not the greatest of earnings. You could see the decelerating sales growth, and they weren't too sanguine about their future of the shopper too. So the consumer for apparel in this group, not too strong. And since I'm on apparel and retail, Crocs, man, we had this one on our ready list. This thing popped and it just looks fantastic. It pulled back to the buy point. And this is where, I say, second mouse gets the cheese, right? So it had this breakout from the 146, ran up, and what did it do? It pulled back to the 21, gave you another chance to get in here. And now it's had a great week. If you own it, yeah, an 8% week, we'll take that all day long. That'll help out your portfolio, take some profits, and buy yourself something nice. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the drug stocks. I skipped out yesterday on Eli Lilly. They got approval of their Alzheimer's drug, and then yesterday, what nobody even noticed, that was a oh my gosh, I'm dropping the ball here. Oh well, they got approval for another drug, and it skips me. I don't have Alzheimer's. I'm not trying to be funny. I forgot what the drug was that Lilly was approved for. But anyway, it's not that important. Lilly's just broke out of base. Technically, it broke out of a base, and it's just running higher. That's all we need to know. Yeah, I mean, that's what we. Oh, thyroid cancer. It got approval for a thyroid cancer, which is significant. They're going to add on more revenue streams. I'm going to just say this is going to be $1,000 stock. It's going to be a $1 trillion, the first drug stock to be a $1 trillion market cap. They're likely going to split at their next earnings date, August 8th. This is just a long-term hold in your portfolio, lower left to upper right. Don't overthink it. Yeah, there's always bad news with drug stocks. They're always getting sued, and that's part of the game. So don't pay any attention to that. Just pay attention to what your stock is doing. And this thing's making new highs. Once again, leadership. This is another leader in another industry group, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, just like NVDA and semiconductors, like CrowdStrike and cybersecurity. it goes on and on. There's so many leaders, and I'm going to get to more here. This is Novo. I mean, people, what's the matter with Novo? There's nothing wrong with Novo, okay? It broke out of a base. This is a little slower mover than Lilly because they have more shares. And today, it pulled back to, I believe it pulled back to its 8. If I just switch over to the 8, strong stocks, yeah, pull back to the 8. So I would expect a bounce there. Not a big deal. Like I said, this one is a little slower mover. So, it's not gonna, if you're looking to hit grand slams, this is not your stock. This is just a slow mover. You want to hit singles and doubles. This is a steady Eddie in your portfolio. And it's just, well, what is it up on, the past year? Let's go here. Yeah, 81%. So I think you'll take that, right? It'll outperform the S&P, and just a no-brainer. I just socked it away a long time ago, and it's done well for me. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Enough of that. Regeneron made a new high today, another drug stock. I know people don't like drug stocks, but man, these things can really be big winners in your portfolio if you want to take a chance on this. So this is Regeneron. You can see the cup with handle, that buy point at 997. And once again, August 1st, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a stock split as well. We're going to start seeing more and more stock splits because they're working so well. HIMS, this is one that is just a monster. I keep on waiting for it to pull back and to its 8. And next time it does, I'll buy it, but I'm not going to chase it up here. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. What else do we have here? Oh, UTHR is another one that just keeps making new highs, right? And I kind of like it. All right, I got to go to the crypto names. The digital currency market kind of stalled. The rally stalled, so their stocks are kind of stalling here. Coinbase, it looks fine. Just pull back to the 10. But once again, you can see the higher lows. It's in a base, it made that low 194 and just keeps making higher lows, right? So that's what we like to see. That's an uptrend. And finding support at moving averages. One of these days it'll bust out, but probably needs a little more time. IREN, this one says a financial services, but this is tied to Bitcoin as well. And this one's just it's got a heavy short interest. They're mining Bitcoins like crazy. This isn't for everybody. And stocks that go from what, 4 to, what did it do, 15 today? That scares people, and I get it. But I would wait for a pullback like it did here earlier in the week before buying. Definitely don't chase it up here. It went up to 14.95 today. Wow. So that one looks good as well. Then MSTR, I was going to put this on my ready list. Glad I didn't. It's had a rough time. Pulled back near its downtrending 50. So yeah, the digital currency market's just stalled a little bit. Bitcoin is stalled. It was up around 72, 73, and now it's pulled back to like 68. So with the indexes at new highs, like I said, you want your stocks to be near new highs, but or setting up in bases ready to break out. All right, I got to move on from this crypto group to the insurance group, which there's some stocks that I really like here that look good. I know the CPI data yesterday, I believe it was, showed that insurance is cooling, not so much a big part of the inflation story. I guess they got their pound of flesh from us with their premiums this year, and so they're going to chill out. But AJG, this is Gallagher, and I like this shakeout here. See how it hit that 256, forms a little base, comes back up to 259, and then what happens? Boom. Profit takers, I'm out of here. Double top. Yikes, this is scary. And then it trades down to its 50 and then just rips higher. This looks good to me. Yeah, it's up 3% this week. You can see the base on base pattern now. Made a new high today, so we like new highs. Oscar is another one that's not quite just the insurance company, but this one again looks like Crocs, where it made this high here and then formed a base. And then it broke out. And then what happened after the breakout? So there's your breakout, right? Boom, ripped up to 2344 on, what was it, May 17th or something, May 21. Okay. And then what did it do since May 21? Well, it pulled back. So everybody that bought the breakout, boop, you're underwater, or it's right back to that old buy point. So to me, this is second mouse gets the cheese, the first pullback to the 50 from the breakout. I think this is going to find support here, in the next coming sessions. And I would definitely be a buyer of OSCR here at 1855, or 19's close enough for me. The machines will be programmed to buy off the 50, and this thing's gonna bounce. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, I think that's a buy right there, sure. Absolutely. Bro, my favorite ticker symbol. I would put this on my ready list of, tomorrow wasn't Friday. I don't want to get too aggressive on a Friday after a big week with the Nasdaq up so much this week. But once again, here it is, the cup pattern, the breakout to 91.70. And then what happens? Profit takers drives this thing back towards its 50, and now it's seeing higher lows and higher highs. Bro looks good. I would be buying that. Like I said, if tomorrow wasn't Friday. It looks good there. All right, what else? Oh, the solar names, a couple solar names that I like, really only two. NXT, which is Next Tracker. If I could type the symbol in, and you could see the chart and see why I like it. You can see the cup with handle looks a little bit like ELF, right? But it didn't stick around this buy point very long. This thing blasted higher, and I think it made a new high today even. Not a new high above 62, but a high for the week. Not a new high. It's got to get above 62 to make a new high. But this is just kind of an IPO base. And it's starting to get into its advanced phase. Nice. I would say that would be a stage 2. Yeah, stage 2, cup with handle. This week broke out, 9% move. You got to like that. I really thought it was going to go kind of sideways, but the solar group is ranked 19. So this is one of the strong ones. And yeah, just, the cup, straight up from the bottom, right? So when these things come straight up from the bottom on this right side, you got to expect some of this action. And it just pulled back to its 10, which, shows, it's a strong stock, and it's up all 4 days this week with volume. So Next Tracker looks good. And the other one I like is First Solar. I bought Next Tracker, didn't buy First Solar, but this looks fantastic. Little wedge pattern, breaks out, pulls back to fill that gap today, but First Solar looks good right here at 291. Anyway, that's it for me today. Like I could show you a bunch more stocks that are doing great, and don't listen to the financial media. There's too negative. Negativity sells. And just look at your stocks, look at the index. I mean, it's making highs. I showed you a ton of stocks that are leaders in their groups that are making highs. Not all of them are actionable, but this is telling you, right? This tells the story. The trend is your friend. And don't fight the tape, no matter what any buddy says on television. Just because they're on television doesn't make them smart. This looks fantastic, a strong market. And I just got to say that the stock market can change your life if you allow it to. If you have an open mind, be flexible. This thing could go a lot higher than we could ever possibly imagine. I mean, if you bought here in 2009, this thing was 1,265, and now it's what, 17,000. So you can make fabulous amounts of money if you just allow yourself to do it. Select the right stocks. And don't fight the tape, and don't listen to financial media. Anyway, that's it for me, except for I have one more thing. I have Adobe earnings after the bell tonight, and man, it's up 14%. I did get a glance just to the top and bottom line numbers. They really crushed it, and they raised guidance. So I believe, I didn't read the details, but I believe the AI revolution is starting to hit the balance sheet in some of these stocks, like we're seeing in Oracle earlier this week, and Adobe, and of course NVDA and Microsoft, and just a lot of names are going to be benefiting from this. We've seen it with Supermicro. So this is a real thing, and it's going to, I think this is going to buoy the software names again tomorrow. See what Microsoft is doing after hours. It's down. How about Apple? I think it's a stock like Adobe is a big stock, and could carry the day tomorrow. NVIDIA, no, okay, we'll have to wait and see. So ServiceNow, it's in the software group. Yeah, ServiceNow is up 2%. Wow. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go. I promise I'll have more in the morning. I think our ready list is going to be pretty limited tomorrow, as most of the stocks are broken out and just moved too high, or they've failed Like, we had some failures. How did JP Morgan do? JPM, yeah, it's below the 50. I don't like that. That's a bad week. Netflix, that looks okay, going sideways, just grinding higher. ASML was one. How is that one doing? That still looks pretty good. Spotify looks good. Coin looks good. ANET's gone. TTD, yeah, looks fine. Anyway, look in the morning for our ready list. Tomorrow's Friday, and I'll have a ready list ready. It'll probably be smaller though, as we look to head into the weekend. Anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching.